the means by which the creative has to engage a customer may be different, depending on the digital channel or the channel you choose to put your message through. And so I don't think creativity has changed, I think it's the distribution model, but I do think we moved from interruptive marketing to engagement marketing, and that has changed. I think creatives have to adapt to that. Well, I mean, certainly you have thought leaders, you have cultural leaders, you have pop leaders, depending on the industry you're in, and they certainly help define that industry, and they help define culture. But clearly what we're seeing is with the power of the internet and these digital networks and the low entry in terms of cost to get into these different networks, it's really democratized and allowed for more people than ever to communicate, engage in the dialogue and the conversation. So certainly we don't see them as important as maybe they once were. They certainly still have an impact in certain dialogues, but what we're seeing is whether you see the citizen journalist or you see the blogger who now has become equally as important. We look at it in two buckets, structured influencers, those in more formal organizations, and unstructured. And I think both now, in this democratization of content, become equally important. Well, I think ultimately the CEO owns all functions. Certainly they're the chief executive of the entire operation and take responsibility. So if the question were to be posed, where would it best fit? Because certainly everybody works for the CEO. I would say it depends on the structure. At HP, it is a part of the marketing function. We view any sort of touch point we have with the consumer important to the marketing function, communication certainly being one of those. But again, I would pose the question, one, how do you define communications today in this digital environment we're in? And how do you define a journalist, a publisher, an editor, right, a writer today, and who are they? And isn't everybody, as we talked about the democratization of content, having impact on your brand? And so we believe at HP that it's important that you have that 360-degree look and view of that customer or consumer.